And hello, hello, hello. Here with you for just about an hour, my friends. Just an hour live. I miss the days of doing like 3 or 4 hour lives, but due to time constraints and work today, it's my long week today, so it's only my second day of work tonight. I must be out the door in 2 hours, which means I need to put on my beauty face or whatever they call it. What did they used to call it back in the old days? When the ladies would go off to the powder room, as they used to call it, and say, I have to put on my beauty face. That's what I got to do. I have to do it today. I have to shampoo and condition my hair. I've got to get my beauty face on, and I still want to get this topic in. And today is a face one. Yesterday was a faceless one. Today is a face one. I want to see how we do. If I do better with my face or without my face. My face and my RE20, my trusty RE20 that's been with me for over 20 years. And I think over 20 years, maybe not that long. But I've been using this microphone, one form of this microphone, for damn near my whole life. I was on the radio for 33 years. And Radio Spencer is just a name that I came up with back in the earliest days of social media when I had to come up with like an email or something. That's what I came up with. I just woke up about half an hour ago. So if you think you'll outwit me, now is the best time to do it. My most vulnerable times are when I'm very, very tired and when I'm just waking up. Thank you. What is going on, Danny? Thank you. I hope you've had a good day so far, too. My day's only been 35 minutes in. I'm only 35 minutes in. As soon as we get to 1,000 hearts, we'll play the opening theme for this topic, and then we'll start taking calls if you're 18 or over. What is your best evidence? Not enough people are doing this topic. They're all doing God isn't real. I don't know if God's real or not. I know the devil isn't real. There could be a God, and the devil could still be insanely stupid to believe in. All right. So this is not. Yesterday, I let people run away with this topic, and I didn't like how it ended up. I had a pretty good show, but I didn't like how everybody ran away with it, turning it into getting defensive about God. You shouldn't be defensive about the devil. You should be happy that the devil doesn't exist, right? I mean, it's not the same topic as God, because God, you have like a lot of vested interest in. Like, you need to know you were created by God, right? You were created by God in his image. I'm not taking any of that away from you in this conversation. I'm just saying the devil isn't real. So slow down, relax, cool your jets, and let's just have some fun here. We're about 250 away from the opening theme and getting to our first calls here. We do have some very humble goals today, so far anyway. We'll ramp them up if it's warranted. I want to try to smash these goals. I want you guys to chat peacefully and kindly to each other. The chat pushes us out. The hearts push us out. The gift goals push us out. I do have a Vimo, which is Radio Spencer, and I want to thank Annie for donating $10 to my Vimo yesterday. I didn't notice that in time to thank Annie. If she pops in here, I hope she hears me thank her, and I will write her a Vimo note as well, thanking her for the $10 donation to my Vimo. These donations really do help me go on. I'll be honest with you. It's much easier for me to tell my wife I'm going to go into my little isolation tank at home and broadcast for a couple of hours if I'm making like dozens of dollars a day or something. You know, if I could say like, hey, this is a little extra income for us, she will be all about it. But I understand. Like, if she locked herself up in a dungeon in the house and really, really enjoyed it, which is fine. This is part of the enjoyment as well. I'm not doing it just for the money. But if I can get paid for doing something I love to do and something I used to get paid a good, decent wage, a good, decent salary doing for 33 years of my career, then why not, right? Like, if I could play the flute on TikTok, that's great. I don't play the flute. I don't play any instruments. But let's say I played the flute. That would be awesome, right? If I could make money playing the flute on TikTok, that would be even better. All right. We have doubled the heart goal for right now of 2,000 to start off the opening theme. This is not Frank Sinatra, although it sounds like him. This is a little tune called The Devil's a No-Show. The Devil's a No-Show. Let's hit it.
Oh, the devil's got a reputation, my friend. They say he's lurking round every bend. But take a look, there's no hoof, no tail, no pitchfork, no brimstone, just a tall tale like Santa with his sleigh, or the bunny on Easter Day. The devil's a no-show, baby, he's a myth, like the tooth fairy's coins or a genie's wish. Stop worrying, stop fretting, let the old guy go, 'cause the devil's a no-show, baby, he's a no-show. They say he's got a fiery lair down below, but I checked my basement and it just ain't so. No contract signed in blood, no dealing in sin, just cobwebs and boxes, no demons within. Like a reindeer that flies, or a man made of pie. The devil's a no-show, baby, he's pretend.
18 or older, line up in the chat box. Let's go. The guest box, line up.
No horns, no fire, no eternal woe. The devil's a no-show, baby, he's a no-show.
Yeah, the devil's a no-show, and you should be happy about that. The devil's not real. I don't know why that makes you cranky. I don't know why it makes you upset. I don't know why it makes Christians discombobulated. It's great news I have for you. The devil isn't real. What do you think? Hop into the guest box if you are 18 or over and you insist the devil is real. I'd love to see your empirical evidence. I would love to see your evidence of the devil being real. Because I'm telling you right now, the devil isn't any more real, the cause of evil, than Zeus is the cause of lightning bolts. I promise. I promise, like I promise, like I promise, like I know, like I know, like I know. The devil isn't the cause of evil any more than Zeus is the cause of lightning bolts, right? Is there any Christian in here that thinks Zeus is the reason why we have lightning storms? Nah, probably not. Let's go to Clips 3, you to me. 3 Clips. Can I just call you Clips, or do you have a name you want to go by? Or
Yeah, you can call me Clips or John, but yeah, the God
Okay.
is lightning, brother.
All right. Hey, listen, are you 18 or over? I just got to ask that just for...
I'm almost 30, brother. I have no
right.
kids. I don't have any kids though.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm way older, unfortunately. And fortunately, I have
how
a
old are
family.
you?
I have 6 kids. I'm going to be 55 in February.
Wait. Let me ask you this before you start. Wait, what age did you have your first kid?
Gosh, in 1998, I was
Oh my God.
27, I think. I was kind of older than I thought I would be when I had my first kid. Wait, no, that's not 27, is it? 1998?
Yeah, that would be 27 years ago.
Yeah, so I was born in 71, so 81, 27 years old, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's different these days because like bills are beating me up. But
Oh
anyway,
my God. I'm glad my kids are like on their own right now. I mean, my kids are all self-sufficient, pretty much. Only one is at home full time anymore, believe it or not. But at one time we had 5 teenagers living under our roof. Can you imagine that?
oh my God. Yeah, I can't. I'm 28. I can't afford, honestly, to be real with you, I can't really afford to have kids because when I have kids, I don't want to like have them struggling or like,
Oh, I hear you. I hear you.
know,
It's
but
the
eventually,
hardest thing in the world, and it's hard to be a kid. It's hard to be. How old did you say you are? Almost 30?
yeah, I'm 28. I'm 28.
Oh wow, I have a kid who's about to turn 20, who just turned 29. I can't believe he's going to be 30 next October. I
Does he have
cannot believe it.
kids?
No, none of them have kids yet.
Gotcha.
None of them are married. Some of them are in serious relationships, long-term relationships, and the youngest is going to be 18 in a week.
Nice. Yeah, my whole family has gotten divorces, so I'm just going to take my time, you know. But anyways, yeah. So
So,
the
what do you think? What's your
devil.
best evidence the devil's real?
Yeah. So actually, I have personal testimony, but I don't know if you'd accept that. But
I usually don't, but you know what? I'm going to be one of the only guys on TikTok that does, because everyone else, like, there's no avenue for people with personal experiences, because people like me and others usually say, But you know what? I woke up in a good mood today, and I'll start doing it as long as the only stipulation I have is this is time reasons. Like I don't want like an hour and a
Yeah,
half
I'll be
long
quick. I'll be
personal
quick.
experience. If you can encapsulate it in a few minutes here, because I'm only going to be on for another 47 minutes today. So
Yeah, I can do it in 2 minutes. So basically, when
okay,
I was born, I was actually on 100% life support because basically the devil was trying to take me out because he knows the gifts that God has placed on the inside of me. And the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So, yeah, so basically that is my situation as far as the
so
devil trying
that's
to
your
take
personal
me
stories that you
out.
had like a
And
life threatening ailment, and it
well,
was the
when I
devil
was
that did it to
born,
try to stifle you.
yeah, he tried to take me out. He tried to kill me. But I was on 100% life support. The doctor said I would never breathe on my own. And they said I would never walk on my own. But I'm here 28
Right.
years later because of the grace of God
Why
and
did
the
God?
devil
Why did
lost.
God allow the devil to put you in that situation? Why would God, a
Well,
loving God,
he
ever let you
lost.
suffer through that?
Well, first off, the Bible says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb, by the word of our testimony. So I can testify and say that, hey, if the devil tried to take me out and he failed, then the Lord can be on your side too and help you in any situation. The Lord has helped me in every situation in my
Right. Well,
life.
wouldn't the Lord have been more helpful if he hadn't let the devil get a hold of you first? Like, why does God not even get
Actually,
rid of the? If God got rid of the devil, you wouldn't have been on life support then. If you believe you were on life support because of the devil,
yeah, well, he tried to take me out, but that's the thing, though.
right?
It's because
Why
the
would God
Lord,
let the devil take you out? It's like the parents saying,
because
it's
the
like
Lord knew I
listen to
would
me, listen to me.
testify.
It's like me saving my child from a pew pew self inflicted accidental wound, right? Right? It's like me saving them. Like I put pressure on the wound. I get a tourniquet. I get 911. I get the ambulance here in 5 seconds. I get them to the hospital. The doctors stitch them up and they're fine, right? But I'm the one who left the loaded pew pew on the table, and yet I'm trying to take credit for calling 911 fast and getting all the credit for saving them. That doesn't make sense, does it? Because I'm the reason why they had the self-inflicted pew pew wound in the first place. I left the loaded weapon on the table.
Well, actually, the thing is, God will do something and turn a negative into a positive, right? So even though the
Why
devil,
turn a negative into a positive instead of just giving you the positive? He
right,
could have
because
had you.
he's overcome, right?
I wasn't born on life support. So am I? Does he love me better than you? I'm a non-believer now, and God graced me, I guess, because I didn't wake up on life support. I wasn't on a feeding tube or an oxygen tube. I was
Right.
born totally healthy. My mother had me at age 40 back in the 70s.
Well, you're blessed,
Do you
brother.
realize how strange it is in 1971 for a 40-year-old woman to give birth to a child? That
Well,
was like
you're
unheard of.
blessed, brother. The devil wasn't on your tail, but the devil
Right.
knows
So
that
why
I'm
was the
gonna
devil after you?
because he knows I'm actually called to the prophetic, and I'm gonna I've been preaching the gospel. He doesn't want us to fulfill our calling. That's why he wants to
Okay.
take us out.
All right. So why doesn't God take the devil out, and then he would save us all sorts of hell,
Yeah,
literally and figuratively?
that's a great question, right?
Yeah.
So
Why does
with
your all
regards
loving
to
all
the
is your God all loving?
yes, he
So
is
why would he
all.
allow? Why would he create the devil if he's all loving? Is he all good?
We created an angel, and the
Right, that
angel
he knew was
became
going
the
to be the
devil.
devil. He knows all things. You can't get away from that. Your God
I'm not trying to, brother.
he's the miracle man. He knows all things. So he knew the
I'm a
minute
miracle. Yeah.
he knew the minute that Adolf Schmittler was conceived, like a little tiny little speck, that he would one day annihilate 8 million people in concentration camps. God knew
Yes.
that. And he allows 20 million miscarriages every year on this planet, but he couldn't miscarry Adolf Schmittler. That's kind of weird to me. That's kind of sus. That's
Well,
what
well,
young kids call
miscarriage.
sus. That's a little sus to me that he could have easily just miscarried Adolf Schmittler. Whoever his mother was, I don't even know her name. Whoever Adolf Schmittler's mother was could have miscarried the baby, and we wouldn't have had the Schmolocast.
Well, no, Adolf could have repented though, brother. You don't understand the grace of God. You're right. So even though someone could have, done very bad, I've done very bad things, right? I've never unalived somebody, right? But even if I was a believer and I repented, the only unforgivable sin, right, is unbelief, blasphemy of the Holy Spirit,
Yeah,
right?
which is
And so
ridiculous. Which is ridiculous because
well, we have
not
grace.
believing in the Holy Spirit is not worse than annihilating 8 million human beings.
I didn't
It's
say
just
what was
not.
worse. I said what was unforgivable,
Right,
blasphemy of the Holy
right. That's
Spirit.
exactly my point. Is that God forgives Adolf Schmittler, but He doesn't forgive me for not believing in Him. That's bullshit, man. That's
Well,
a
you have an
cult. That
opportunity,
is a
though.
cult. That is a cult. Listen, what is your best empirical evidence other than you had a traumatic birth for the existence
Well,
of the
I
devil?
have
'Cause
I
I
have
need to
plenty.
see. This is why I don't listen to personal experiences because it doesn't make any sense. So that means every time. Do you understand? Let me ask you a question. And I don't want to get personal here, but you do realize
Yeah, you
that
can.
there are scientifically explainable reasons why you were on life support.
Yeah, because I wasn't breathing. But hey, God literally, my dad prayed and he said, Lord, let him take the life
Yeah.
support out.
How about God not put you on life support? Do you realize that being on life support and being under that trauma could have caused you problems the rest of your life? Why would God take that
But
gamble?
God.
Why would God put you in that stress and put your body and brain and organs under severe stress as a baby? Why would God do that?
Yeah, because there's actually been a lot of children that go on life support and they have issues the rest of their life. I do, and the
Right.
Lord
And
literally
you're more
spared
special than
me.
they are, right? You're more special because you don't have
Well,
lifelong problems.
first off, I'm not going to speak on anyone else's situation. Second off, I have grace upon my life, and I'm grateful
Okay,
for
these are all
that.
claims. These are all claims. Listen, I appreciate you. I'm not blocking you,
I
but
can give
I
you
am gonna
facts. I can give you
I
facts if
am
you
gonna
want.
bounce down. Listen, I appreciate it. I'm gonna
You
bounce you
want?
down. I'm being respectful. I want to stop myself before I get disrespectful. I'm trying to pull the plug on my anger. Because I get a lot of anger when people say I had a turbulent birth, so therefore it's the devil. This is stuff that prehistoric, archaic, ancient, ignorant people used to think thousands of years ago, man. You are almost 30 years old. Okay. So that puts you what, in the 90s, being born in the 90s? In the 1990s, science, medicine, our knowledge base all knew and could explain what happened to you at birth. I don't know what happened in your mom's womb that may have translated into the birthing room. I don't know, and I don't want to know. I don't need to know all these specifics. All I know is that whatever happened to you, that you weren't breathing. Babies are born not breathing every day on this planet, and I promise you it doesn't happen because of the devil. There's just no. I'm just going to leave it at that. You have absolutely no standing to say it's. I could say that about anything. I could say, you could say anything is the devil. You can rationalize, and then the ultimate question, which you couldn't really address, is if God hadn't created the devil, you would have been born breathing. Let's dissect this. Let's deconstruct that caller's personal experience. He was born not breathing. He was on life support. The doctors were frantic. His parents were probably more frantic, and he was saved through the grace of God. Now, he says that the devil took his breath away because he wanted to try to annihilate him. So the devil's, first of all, not powerful. Because if the devil can't succeed in making a baby stop breathing, a little infant, if the devil can't stop a baby from breathing, a baby that has lungs the size of a marble from breathing, then the devil's just nothing to be worried about. If the devil can't snuff out a baby at birth, it's useless. So point number one, you can still believe in your devil and realize how idiotic this devil is, that the devil tries to take the breath away from a baby, and then God's too powerful anyway. So that's point number one. That's point number two. Point number one is God didn't have to create Lucifer, knowing that Lucifer would become the devil. He didn't have to do that. It has nothing to do with free will. Adolf Schmittler's free will would not have been compromised if he had not been conceived. God could just presumably look into the wombs of all the women on earth and say, holy shit, that guy's name, he's going to be named Jeffrey Dahmer. That guy's named Jeffrey Dahmer. I have a chance to miscarry that baby, so I think I will. Boom. Jeffrey Dahmer's never born. Adolf Schmittler, Mussolini, Mao Zedong, you name it, Donald Trump, whatever you want to throw into the mix. We could just say they'll never be born. We're not stopping them from exercising free will. They haven't even been conceived yet. There's no free will to be taken away from them. That's a point that only I make. Nobody on this app makes it. And that is God could simply miscarry a baby, knowing that baby's going to turn into a monster that's going to wreak havoc on the face of the earth. And God doesn't. And yet God, presumably, if God controls everything. I had the stats yesterday when I did the show. I'm going to keep this up on my screen because it's a good stat for Christians to swallow. I think it's like 23 million if I remember right. Oh, I got it right. My memory may be coming back. I thought I was just, honestly, sometimes it feels like early onset dementia. I shouldn't say that, but it feels that way sometimes. My brain's just getting old and tired. Approximately 23 million miscarriages occur worldwide each year. What a loving God. What a loving God. He allows Jeffrey Dahmer to be born. He allows Schmittler to be born. He allows all these horrible world leaders and criminals and masterminds of debauchery and horror on the earth. He lets them be born. But 23 million women, well, not necessarily women, it could have been twins or triplets, but 23 million fetuses that could have turned into babies and could have been born were miscarried by this God. 23 million. You're going to tell me that Adolf Schmittler, it could have been 23 million and one? You can't tell me it could have been 23 million and one, so Jeffrey Dahmer hadn't been born? You don't think it could have been 23? Do you think maybe the people that got eaten by Jeffrey Dahmer would have liked it if God had miscarried Jeffrey Dahmer and Jeffrey Dahmer had never come into existence? I have a feeling maybe yes. So why does your God allow the devil to exist? It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. And the crazy spin on it is like our first caller saying that through the grace of God, the devil was defeated because he started breathing again. And you know what? I don't know that I believe that story in its entirety. I'll be totally honest with you. I don't know you from Adam. You could be lying to me. You could be hoodwinking me. A lot of religious zealots, I'm not calling you a zealot per se, but a lot of religious zealots will embellish stories with no qualms, with no guilt, without even thinking about it. They will embellish a story if it pushes their God further onto the stage. I don't believe that the doctors knew with an infant, a baby that was just born, for them to say you would never walk, you would never breathe again, you would never walk, you would never survive, I think that's not a foregone conclusion. I don't think that's a foregone conclusion. I don't think that they just delivered the baby. They just severed the umbilical cord. And for a doctor to say this baby will never walk again or never, I don't know that doctors do that. I don't know that doctors do that. They might have done it like the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, but in the 1990s when you were born, caller, there's no way in hell a doctor's going to look at a baby and say, this baby's 100% never going to walk again, never going to be successful, never going to be never going to be healthy. How would a doctor know that from a little baby whose umbilical cord was just split? I don't buy parts of that story. I'm telling you right now. It's another reason why I don't take personal testimony. Oh, I levitated out of my car, right? This is like the UFO people. I went through the roof of my ceiling. Really? Well, your wife saw you in bed, so you're just making it up. You're having hallucinations. You're having a fever dream. You're having something's going on in those cases. You're not levitating out of your car. I promise you, there's no alien pulling you out of your car while you're going 80 miles an hour on the freeway. I promise you. And if you think I'm wrong, then you have to give us empirical evidence how you ended up in the mothership. I need you to take your cell phone with you next time when you levitate. Tell the aliens next time you levitate out of your bed, through the ceiling, into the clouds, that you need to take your cell phone with you so you could prove to the rest of the people on planet Earth that what you're saying isn't a bunch of horror shit. I'm not doing this. I'm not taking it. I'm not doing it. I said yesterday I'm not doing it. I'm being consistent. I'm sorry. If you want to come on this show, I don't have a whole lot of prerequisites. I want to make TikTok happy. And honestly, people under 18, this is too mature of a topic for like a 14-year-old to be talking about or a 10-year-old. They don't know enough. They're just starting their indoctrination process and their brainwashing. So they're pretty fresh with the brainwashing, and they can't think critically at age 10 or 11, generally speaking. So that's why it's a good reason why TikTok has an 18-plus thing. I've added something on top of that. If you have no profile picture, like the person who's guesting up right now, who's called I'm Saved and Sanctified, and their name is I Stay Prayed Up 23. No, not taking you. No picture, no content. You have 2 followers. You're following 25 people. You're hiding something. Clearly you're hiding something, and I'm not going to talk to you. End of story. So if anyone else wants to guess, I'm going to be very hard about that. I've only been wrong like once or twice when every time I've taken someone with no profile picture, no videos, no content, no friends, not even a name, I get fucked. I'm not doing it anymore. So if you want to come on my show, you have to give me the dignity of having a picture, a name, and some sort of evidence that you're like a real person and you're not just a troll. People who have like 1 follower, no picture, no name, you're hiding something. I don't give a shit what you say. You are hiding something. So not going to do it, especially with a name like that. It's not going to go well. It won't end well for you, that's for sure. I don't want to be like yelling. I don't want to be yelling at you. Let's go to King. We have a couple of Kings lined up. Maybe Trump will be the third king. King, how are you? And are you at least 18?
Yes, I am doing well. Yes, I am.
All right. What is your I don't want to get sidetracked here. What is your best evidence that the devil is real? Do you believe the devil is real?
Yes, I do. I certainly do.
Okay, you say certainly, so that means you're saying it with certainty, literally. So
Yes.
tell me what your best evidence is. Get right to it. I don't want anecdotes. I really don't want I was going to take more personal experiences, but people could just make up anything. I could tell you that I had a dream of the Queen last night and she whispered something about Donald Trump, so therefore it's real. That's my personal experience. It's not. It's worthless. It's shitty. It's not evidence.
Yeah.
So other than personal experience, what is your best evidence that the devil is real?
Well, it's not a personal experience because everyone experiences this.
Okay, what is it?
Is your
Spill
negative?
it.
Yeah,
Spell it.
yeah. It's your negative thoughts, your negative emotions. And
That's
your
all explainable through psychology. It has nothing to do with devils and demons. So if I have a negative thought, like if I think today's a horrible day, my day's going to go to shit when I go to work, and my wife doesn't love me, and I want to do horrible things to somebody, that's the devil. It can't just be my own mind having negative thoughts. Negative thoughts even are the result of the devil, really?
negative thoughts equal negative action, and so you'll be having negative.
Not necessarily, only if you act on those negative thoughts. I could have a negative thought of throttling you, and if I don't actually throttle you, it doesn't become an action, right? I mean, I can fantasize all I want about throttling someone, but as long as I don't do it, I'm okay. They can't arrest me for thinking about it.
So you don't listen to the devil, and so yeah, you performed well, but the devil's trying to get you to do that negative action.
Okay, so why not get rid of the devil? Just tell me that I said I didn't want to talk about God, but we have to now. Your God, I would imagine you're Christian, right?
Why would you imagine that?
I'm thinking because the devil is there's different devils in different religions, but we're talking obviously about the Christian devil here. So are you not a Christian? Are you a Muslim or Hindu?
Why do you say obviously we're talking about the Christian devil? I told you what the devil's.
Well, we're not talking about like the Wiccan devil or the Roman gods version of the devil. We're not talking about Hades. We're talking about the devil.
Yes, you're yes.
Okay, let me tell me. You're not a Christian then, so I want you to renounce Jesus Christ on this live. I want you to say Jesus Christ is a pile of shit. He's no good. He's not real, and he's never coming back. I want you to say that for me.
I'm not going to say that about another.
Why? So, are you a Christian or not?
I'm not going to say Jesus Christ is a pile of.
I want you to tell me if you're a Christian or not. If you won't even identify your religion, you're not welcome here. What is your religion?
You can't box me into a religion.
Yeah, no, but I can drop you though. I can certainly drop you. So, and if you yap in the chat, I'll block you. I don't like people that are so sneaky. You're a proud Christian. Just say it. If you're not a Christian, you can get on here and say Jesus is a pile of fucking shit. He's a pile of bones rotted away in a landfill somewhere, and he's never ever coming back. Woo! Easy. I said it. Ooh, is Jesus going to strike me down? Ooh, I sucked Jesus' toes for 40 years of my life as a Christian. And now I realize it's all myth. See, I'm not afraid of mythology. I'm not afraid of saying Jesus. Ooh, the boogeyman. Ooh, the Middle Eastern guy in sandals. He's going to put a curse on me. Whoa. Jesus does not love you if he allows the first caller to be born not breathing and have to be put on life support because the devil got a hold of that baby before God did. I can't let go of that first caller. That first caller I cannot let go of. I can't let go of that first caller who said he was born not breathing because the devil got his clutches on him. But Jesus just sat there going, yeah, I'll let the devil do it. I'll let the devil get his clutches on this innocent little baby. Instead of Jesus saying, oh no, you stay away from this child. See, Jesus could have poked the devil away from you. He could have poked you away. Maybe he would have gone to another kid that didn't have Jesus standing over his crib. But no, Jesus was nowhere to be found. So the devil got a hold of you, somehow got a hold of your lungs, which is weird, made you stop breathing. You got on a ventilator. It's the devil's fault. Where was Jesus while the devil was putting you on a ventilator? And then I guess Jesus, being such a nice guy, let you suffer just long enough, just short of giving you brain damage for the rest of your life for not breathing. And then, all of a sudden, you came out of it. Just like that, you came out of it. So it must be Jesus. Must be God. Must be the devil that you stopped breathing. And it must be Jesus that you started breathing again. What's really weird is that Hindus have these same experiences. It's really weird. Hindus have babies that are born not breathing either. And then they start breathing again. And yet the Hindu doesn't say it's the devil that made the kid not breathe, and it's not Jesus Christ that brought the kid back to life. They don't say that. Muslims probably wouldn't say that. Buddhists don't pray to a deity per se, so they wouldn't say it. So that's interesting. So the devil took your breath away, but God won't take the devil's breath away. Got it. Got it. He would rather see babies be traumatized. Every time a baby is born not breathing, every time a baby is born with leukemia, every time a baby is born with brain damage, every time a baby is born with its eyeball sealed over and no vision, it's the devil. And God allows the devil to continue. He lets him continue. Share out the live, guys. We only have 3 shares. Double tap that screen. Let's get going. I'm trying to increase my energy. You know, I'm kind of an older guy here, and I'm trying to have the energy of when I was 20 years old, which is impossible, but I'm trying. So show some love here. I have a Vimeo, Radio Spencer. If you want to see these lives more often, I do different topics. I try not to do the same topic too often. This one I'm going to stay on for the week, I think. Maybe I'll change them weekly. It'll be like the weekly special. But I love this one because it's not taking away your God per se. It does make you question your God, like why you're all-knowing, all-powerful, all-loving God. See, this contradicts all the omnis of God. We'll get to a caller here in a sec, I promise. This takes away all the this basically makes your God impotent. Believing in you don't even understand it, that by believing in the devil, you are at the same time contradicting your God. All loving, an all-loving God would not create the boogeyman of mankind. Wouldn't do it. It would be like saying I'm a loving father, but I'm going to create the assailant that's going to essay my child the minute they go on the school bus. Wouldn't make any sense. If I were a parent and I say, I love my child, but I'm going to make sure that the boogeyman kidnaps you on your way to school. I'm such a loving dad, right? No. All-knowing. Oh, well, he didn't create the devil. He created Lucifer. Yeah. And he knew that Lucifer would become the devil, so same difference. So he's not all-knowing. Or if he is all-knowing and he did it anyway, he's a real asshole. All-powerful. Your God's not all-powerful, or he could vanquish the devil. He could have done it a long time ago. The reason why the devil hasn't been vanquished is because you need conflict in the narrative. Christianity, like all other religions, needs that conflict. I always use the example of comic books. It's a good one. You would not buy Spider-Man. Well, I don't know. I was raised on Spider-Man comics. Spider-Man movies. The first thing people ask next to who's going to play Spider-Man, who's going to be the next Batman, who's coming back as Superman, that might be the first question. But tied for first place is who's the villain. We don't want a Superman movie where he's just getting cats out of trees and helping old ladies cross the street at Walmart. Not interested. Nobody wants to see a Superman movie where all he's doing is helping Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, you know, preventing them from drowning in a lake somewhere on a camp trip. That we don't want a Superman movie where all he's doing is saving from themselves. There has to be a villain. We need Lex Luthor. We need to have the Green Goblin. We got to have, you know, everybody has. We need the Joker. Can you imagine a Batman movie and all he does is just kind of hang out at the bowling alley, have a few smokes, have a few, you know, Coors, and all he does is hang out at the bowling alley, in or out of his Batman costume, and that's the end of the movie. It says the end. You can look forward to the sequel? No, you want conflict. You want bashing of heads. You need the Joker, the Joker, the Joker. Batman needs the Joker needs Batman. There is no Batman movie without a villain. There is no interest in the Spider-Man movie where he's just spinning webs around New York City. Ooh, wow. Ooh, cool. Neato. We've seen Spider-Man spin webs. We've seen him swing from skyscraper to skyscraper. No interest. Nobody would see a Spider-Man movie. Nobody. If all he did was spin webs all over New York City, had a bagel, and called it a night. Watch a little Netflix. Nobody would watch it. You want it because you want to see Spider-Man get his head pounded into the cement. You want to see Spider-Man get his costume torn up in a million different ways. I love that scene. When Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man and his suit was, remember his gloves were all bloody. I think he had blood. I think Spider-Man bleeds. Yeah, he bleeds like a human. He is a human. The torn, like when his mask was all deteriorated and torn up, that was awesome. But that's conflict. Nobody wants to see Spider-Man ironing his costume. Ooh-de-doo-de-doo, I'm ironing my costume. It looks so nice today. No, they want to see blood coming out of the costume. They want to see the torn mask almost revealing his face and identity. That's the conflict. The reason why in your mythology God has not vanquished the devil is very simple. What would happen to Christianity if there was no devil? What would happen to Christianity if there was no specter of hell anymore? What if there was no boogeyman in Christianity? What would happen to the religion? Maybe not today, but over the course of decades, centuries, and millennia. What would happen if the devil, let's say the devil, imagine the news story. I'm Spencer Hughes, and this is the 10 o'clock news. The news, according to Hughes. Today, on October, what is today? 23rd, 2025, the devil has been vanquished. Yes, we're getting reports from all over the world that the devil has finally been defeated by Jesus, by God, by the Holy Spirit, by the Trinity. The devil is no more, my friends, and we will have more as we get more updates. What would happen to Christianity if, like, we got news, headline, devil vanquished? Finally, we'd say. Atheists, agnostics, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, everybody, Muslims, Jews, everybody would be partying in the streets going, finally, God fucking damn it, God finally got rid of the devil. But that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. The Christians cannot let go of the devil. There'll never be a storyline where someone gets like a vision in their sleep going, guess what? The devil's not there anymore, guys. He's gone. So now when babies are born not breathing, we got to come up with a better story. When someone knifes somebody else on a street corner at the subway, we got to come up with a better story. Now we're going to have to come up with real stories, like why people do horrible things to each other. Why would somebody essay another human being? Why would someone take someone's life if not the devil? We don't have the devil to blame anymore, guys. What are we going to do? The religion crumbles. The religion would fall into the ocean without the devil. You know it and I know it. So it's a fancy little hook. It's the eternal punishment, the eternal threat of the devil. That's what keeps you in line. That's what keeps you in line, the battle between good and evil, spiritual warfare. Imagine, what would Trump and what would the Republicans and what would Christian nationalists do if we announced tomorrow? Let's do it again. Spencer Hughes on the 10 o'clock news, the news according to Hughes. We're getting word all over the world today that spiritual warfare is not a thing anymore. Good won over evil. It is over. No more spiritual tug of war. More as we get the details. What would happen if the spiritual war, which isn't even a real thing, there is no spiritual warfare. There are no angels and demons punching each other in the sky. What would happen? What would happen if it was declared tomorrow by the church, the battle of good and evil has been won, the good guys won, the bad guys lost? Let's see how tomorrow shakes out. How would Christianity shake out tomorrow if every Christian woke up tomorrow without believing in the devil, without believing in the battle of good and evil constantly, without believing in infantile, archaic, superstitious bullshit? What would that world look like? All right, let's go to another king here, and I won't make the presumption that this person is a Christian, but I am going to ask if you are a believer in the devil and what faith you are, if you don't mind me asking. Oh, they dropped off. All right. They were on hold for half an hour. I thought they'd want to come on. I'll just read comments, thanks. I've been kind of ignoring the comments. What do you guys think? You having a good time? We're 18,000 hearts in. You're not having that good of a time. 44 people watching, not terrible. Kim says, yeah, it's crazy that disbelief is the unforgivable sin. It's typical of a cult. A cult would tell you that. Think of a cult leader. A cult leader in your little cult would say, you questioning me, I'm your cult leader. You questioning me is the worst single thing you can do in this cult, right? Not essaying your partner over there while they're sleeping, not schmurdering someone out on the street. You deny me, you rat me out. That's the worst thing you can do, so you shut your mouth. Any cult leader would do that. Same thing. The worst, it's only bewildering to Christians why that's in there. It's convenient, isn't it? You believe in a God because you were brainwashed to from the time you were 6 months old, on average, to believe in a God, and then you find out that this God says the single worst thing you can do is not murder 8 million people in a concentration camp. The single worst thing you can do that is unforgivable in the eyes of God. Schmittler's forgivable, Dahmer's forgivable, Mussolini's forgivable, Mao Zedong was forgivable. All these, they're all forgivable, except for denying the Holy Spirit. Blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Don't you think that's convenient that your religion wrote that in there? Don't you think it's convenient? Like, don't you think it would be convenient if I told you if you don't tap hearts on my live, you're going to get throat cancer? and you believed it, don't you think that would be kind of a convenient little thing for me to start the lives with, going, people who don't double tap the screen, within 6 weeks, you are going to develop some type of horrible cancer. And you believed it. Let's say for some reason you believed it. God, that guy, that good-looking, bald, fat guy on TikTok, he said I'm going to get cancer if I don't like his live, so I better start double tapping the screen. You'd start believing that. And then all of a sudden people are saying, that's so irrational. How can you really believe that if you don't double tap this guy's screen, you're going to get, well, he said so, and he's kind of charismatic, and I believe what he says, and I don't want to take a chance. So one of the first signs for me, and I wish I'd seen it back in the 70s when I started my Christianhood, is God telling you the only, it's not even like the top 5, the only unforgivable sin is denying the Holy Spirit. That's wild, man. That is the perfect way to scare people into submission. And that's why Christians largely don't question the Holy Spirit. They're too afraid. They actually believe that something bad's going to happen to them. They actually believe that when they die, something bad's going to happen to them if they deny the Holy Spirit. Riley says, I'd be thanking the wonderful staff at the hospital, not God. Yeah, this is going back to the first caller, so I'm way behind on here. I'm sorry. Yeah, I love when Christians say, like, Jesus pulled me out of schmaddiction. Why did he let you become schmaddicted? When I got essayed when I was 7 by 12 people, Jesus fixed my life afterwards. Well, why did he let you be essayed by 12? Why would Jesus allow the 12 people to essay you? Oh, free will, I guess. Oh, there's one for you. The free will of the perpetrators. Those 12 people had free will to essay you. That's just their free will. God turned Lot's wife into a pillar of salt for far less. Why doesn't he? How about this? How about when someone's about to harm a child, they get turned into a pillar of salt? That would be wild. That would be great. See, that's why I would be a better God than Yahweh. I got to do that topic again. My way is better than Yahweh. I love that topic. It makes Christians nuts. My way is better than Yahweh. Yeah. I wouldn't let school pew-pew people ever, if they even got as far as their trunk to unload the weapons in the duffel bags, I would turn them into a pillar of salt. If I didn't catch them sooner, I'd turn them into a pillar of salt. Every single one of them. And there'd never be another pew-pew incident again, because I would turn real dastardly people into pillars of salt. Your God turned an innocent woman into a pillar of salt. All she did was look behind her. Her city was being destroyed. Didn't really happen. There's no evidence that Sodom and Gomorrah ever existed. It's all a fable. But let's pretend, like good Christians, let's pretend in the children's story of Sodom and Gomorrah that the woman, all the angel said was, don't look back. Don't look back. I'm warning you, don't look back. Look back. Oh, pillar of salt. But God won't turn a school massacre perpetrator into a pillar of salt. That's weird. He didn't turn the hijackers on 9/11 into pillars of salt. He could have done that when security let them go through. When security let them get on those airplanes. Hell, he could have turned them into pillars of salt in their hotel rooms the night before. He knew what was going to happen. He knew they were going to fly those planes into the buildings. He knew 9/11 was going to happen. And it was in the name of Islam, which you would think that God would be really pissed off about and say, no way, not on my watch. Not on my watch are these T's going to take over these airplanes and further the cause of radical Islam. I'm not allowing that to happen. So your God's powerless, if he exists at all. Powerless, impotent, the whole 9 yards. A God who creates the devil is not an all-loving, all-knowing, all-powerful being. And a God who does and doesn't vanquish them. Let's say God made the mistake, which he isn't. He can't because he's perfect. You guys are the ones who set up these high benchmarks for God, not me. So he's perfect, so he wouldn't have made the mistake of creating the devil. So that means making the devil was not a mistake. If God doesn't make mistakes, then he created Lucifer to become the devil on purpose. Wow. What a dick. What a dick. That's a dick move for an all-loving, all-powerful, all-knowing God to knowingly create the adversary of humanity. That's some bullshit there, man. That worldview protects the perpetrator's free will and ignores the victim's free will. Yep, you're right. Where's the free will of all those fetuses? Christians say that you're a human being at conception. So where's the free will of the fetus to be born, to at least be born? Why are there 23 million miscarriages every year? Oh, because the mother smokes, or the mother doesn't take care of herself, or the mother, it's the mother's fault, it's the devil's fault, it's not God's fault. Again, it's just a wild idea that if there's 23 million miscarriages a year, and I know the numbers would have been different in the 1940s, probably far fewer because there were far fewer people to extrapolate the stats from. But let's say it was still in the low millions. You're going to tell me that if God had added Adolf Schmittler to the list, that wouldn't have been good for humanity? See, Christians still hold out this nonsensical idea that there's some rational, totally good explanation for the Holocaust. They will tell you that it's God's will, and God's will is always good. So if God willed the Holocaust to happen, we might not know because he won't share it with us. He'll never tell us, but there's got to be a good reason. Yeah, when my dad skipped out on me when I was 4 years old, there must have been a good reason for that. When the guy robbed my mother at the ATM, there must have been a good reason for that. God let it happen, Joe. It must be God's will that my mother got you robbed at the ATM. Yeah, it's got to be God's will. Everything's God's will. So why pray? Why the fuck do you pray if God's will is already God's will? God's will is for your grandma to die on the slab at the hospital tomorrow, on the hospital slab in the operating room. That's God's will is your grandmother's going to unalive tomorrow in surgery. So stop praying for grandma. Grandma was a good Christian woman. You don't need to pray for her. She's going to go to heaven. She's fine. I love it. Christians are always saying, it's God's will. Thy will be done. But I'm going to pray to contradict whatever your will is, God. You have a will. Your will is for Gaza to keep getting obliterated. But I'm going to pray for peace in Gaza. Why would you pray for peace in Gaza? God obviously doesn't want peace in Gaza, or he would have brought peace to Gaza. Your God doesn't want peace in Gaza. Your God doesn't want a cure for cancer. Your God doesn't want a cure for Alzheimer's. Your God clearly doesn't want us to stop fighting each other endlessly. He doesn't. His will is for this havoc to keep taking over the earth. So stop praying. Stop trying to intervene in God's will. Stop it. You are contradicting God, and God's pissed off. He just told me in my ear. He actually told me in this ear. He just whispered to me, he's going, tell people, please, Spencer, you're no Moses, but I want you to tell the people that I just told you to tell them to stop praying because they're contradicting my will. I already know what they want. I know they need to win the lottery. I know they need to pay rent. I know that their child has leukemia. I understand that their wife is on life support. I understand these things. They got to stop praying. I don't have time to answer their prayers. I don't have time to listen to these prayers. Please tell them, Spencer. He told me in this ear. He just told me, stop praying. Told me to tell all the Christians watching to stop praying because he's a little bit busy getting heaven ready. I had a guy last week on a live. I said, what is God doing right now? He's not curing cancer. He's not helping children from being SA'd. He's not keeping women from abusive relationships. You know, he said, what is God doing right now? You know what he said? He's getting heaven ready for the believers. I go, how long does it take this guy to tidy up? He's had since the beginning of time to get ready, heaven ready. What are you talking about? This is fantastic. I love the Christian brain. I wish I remembered my brain as a Christian. I do a little bit. Maybe it's my brain's way of erasing some of the craziness that went on. I don't remember everything. But man, oh man, I love that one. God's not curing cancer because he's getting heaven ready. He's dusting, you know. He's got his little apron on. His apron that says, I'm God and you're not. And he's just dusting and vacuuming. And he's got the Shark or the Dyson out, and he's just getting heaven ready for all the believers so they can get there and shuck his toes forever. He's got things to do. He has to make sure that the charcuterie board is ready. He's got to remember he's got the vegan alternatives for the vegans. He's got to have all this stuff. The windows were a little smeared. There's a little bit of smearing on the windows from all the cherubs putting their faces up against the glass and their noses. God, is it time yet? Are the people coming? So he's got to wipe the smudges from the cherubs' noses. He's got a lot of fucking things to do. He can't cure cancer or help children. He's got to get heaven ready for all the toe suckers. Of course. Okay, I'll stop rambling. I'll stop being entertaining as soon as we get another caller in the box. How's that? Get a caller in the box. The best way to shut me up is to get a caller in here. Anunnaki, the Forbidden History says, hell, Satan doesn't exist any more than the invisible sky daddy does. Religious people are delusional. Yes, more free will without the devil. Christians need to feel better than everyone else. Someone was laughing there. Maybe I was funny or maybe I was being dumb. The devil would be violating free will. The Lord healed me. Oh, there we go. It's the same guy from earlier. The Lord healed me. No, the Lord didn't heal you. You know how I know the Lord didn't heal you? Because your mom and dad, or your mom and your mom, or your mom by herself, I don't know if single mom, whatever, I don't care the dynamics. All sorts of different families. I'm not judging. your parents, whoever they were, drove you to a hospital, not to a church, not to a synagogue, not to a temple, not to a mosque, not to a shaman. They drove you to a hospital so the doctors and the nurses could get you on life support. Isn't that weird? If Jesus really saved you, why didn't Jesus just breathe air into your nostrils? Couldn't a baby stop breathing on a subway car and Jesus saved them there? How come the baby who stops breathing on the subway car unalives? It's so weird. Where was can Jesus not get down below ground level? Like, can he not go into the subway to save that child? So if you were, it's interesting you were saved. Let's go back to this. This is fascinating. This is why Christians don't want to share personal beliefs with me. Not with me anyway, because I will dissect them, chop them up like green onion slivers. I will chop them up. So let's I find it interesting that Jesus saved you coincidentally, it's all coincidence, in a room that had ventilators, nurses, doctors, ER staffers, and millions of dollars of equipment. Do you think if you had stopped breathing on the subway, you'd still be here today? Be honest. I want Christians to be intellectually honest. They say Jesus saved them, but Jesus usually saves them in an operating room where there are doctors, nurses, millions of dollars worth of equipment, hundreds of years of scientific knowledge in the room. That's kind of a coinky-dinky. Because I guarantee you, if that caller had stopped breathing on a subway car and they were miles away from help, that it would have ended up very differently for him. I can't say for sure. I'm 99% for sure. Jesus would not have saved him on that subway car because there were no doctors present, there were no nurses present, there were no ventilators present, there were no millions of dollars of equipment present, there was no hundreds of years of medical knowledge in the room. So if Jesus could have saved them in the middle of a hospital that is equipped to do just that, aren't hospitals there to save people? So let's dissect the mind of a Christian. A Christian says they were saved by God in a medical building that is designed with hundreds of millions of dollars worth of equipment to save people, to do exactly what the doctors did, which was to bring that baby breathing again. So the hospital is what does that. That's why you don't drive to a church when you've been stabbed. When you've been stabbed and you're bleeding out, you don't drive to a church and pray. You go to an ER so that doctors with scientific knowledge and know-how can stitch you up before you bleed out. Why not just pray? God heals. You say Jesus heals. So next time you get stabbed 18 times, pray. Just pray. Have everyone put their hands on you. Have them place their hands on you and have a group prayer and see if you don't bleed out. And if God is real, he'll just say, he'll stop you. He'll cauterize all the wounds, and that'll be a real miracle, and I'll become a Christian again. If we have stories like that in the news of people being stabbed 18 times and they didn't go to the hospital, they didn't call 911, they prayed to Jesus, and all of a sudden, before all of our eyes and all of our iPhones and Android phones, the wounds cauterized right before our eyes, and the person walked away from the scene with minimal blood loss, I'd be a Christian tomorrow. Promise. I promise you. I will go back to being a Christian. But those aren't the kind of miracles God performs, apparently. He performs miracles like a priest in New Hampshire. He swears that there were only 4 hosts left here for the communion. And then I turned my back, and now there's 80 in here, and there's more than enough for everybody. I only counted 4. Now there's 80. So that's a miracle. And then the Vatican comes, and they go, yep, it's a miracle, all right. No evidence, no witnesses, no cameras. Nothing that shows that those wafers turn from 4 to 80. They just take the priest at his word, and all of a sudden the Catholic Church says, oh, it's a miracle, because we need miracles on the books. So that sounds like a good miracle. Never been a miracle of an amputee growing an arm overnight. Never been that kind of a miracle. Never been a miracle of somebody being severed by a subway car in half and walking away from the scene because of a miracle. Never a miracle of somebody jumping off of the Empire State Building and surviving. Never that kind of a miracle. Oh, interesting. Oh, so the only kind of miracles God can perform are healing people in hospitals, which are places of healing. That's weird. So someone got better in a hospital, so it's God. Wow, you think if they got sick like that in an abandoned apartment building, the results would have been the same? You think without the life support systems, without the doctors and the nurses and the medicines and the shots? Christianity is it's so easy to debunk. I don't know why I was a believer for 40 years. Honestly, because I think I'm a bright guy. Am I or am I not a bright guy? Tap the hearts, guys. We're only at 23,400 hearts. Double tap the screen, share it out. We're at 26 shares, which is decent, but I got to go in about 4 minutes. Corey King says, why the fuck are you so concerned about what other people believe? Creepy as fuck, dude. You know why? Because you elect people. They want to dictate to me all this bullshit from the Stone Age. That's why. That's why I'm concerned what you believe. I'm not concerned what you believe. I have friends who believe in the chupacabra. I have a lot of like paranormal type friends, and they believe in all sorts of things. I have a friend I talked to the other day that believes in aliens, that he's convinced aliens are real and they're flying over his house every day. You can believe whatever you want. You can believe the sky is orange. You can believe the grass is blue. You can believe whatever you want. I have no problem with what other people believe. If you notice, I don't go after Hindus ever. I don't go after, I criticize some of the things that they believe. But you don't see me doing lives against Hinduism because Hindus aren't the ones in the public schools trying to shove the Vedas down our throats. And if they start doing that, I will be all over Hindus. But I'm not. So it isn't belief. I don't go after Hindus. I don't even really talk about Muslims. Muslims aren't trying to shove their religion down our throats. Buddhists leave everybody alone. There's no Buddhists trying to infiltrate public schools, although it would be great if they did because it's a non-deist approach to life. Non-deist. Most Buddhists don't believe in or pray to any gods. I'd rather see Buddhism in the public schools, meditation, introspection, focus on the mind, controlling things that happen largely, thoughts creating things in reality. I'd love that. So when you say it's creepy as fuck, you know what I think is creepy as fuck? Is that my money says in God we trust. Corey King 915, I think that's creepy as fuck. That my money says in God we trust. That the Pledge of Allegiance says, one nation under God. It was written by a socialist. The Pledge of Allegiance. It was written by a left-wing socialist. And all the conservatives say, don't take the Pledge of Allegiance out of school. Written by a socialist. What? Right wing. I used to be a right wing wacko on talk radio for 25 years. And I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's crazy making. Christian, nationalist, conservative, right wing Trumpers will defend the Pledge of Allegiance. They want to force kids. Force them. Some say the kids should even be suspended or expelled for not standing up, putting their hand over their heart and saying the Pledge of Allegiance, written by a socialist. And the under God part was only thrown in there during the Red Scare of the 1950s when they put that in there. They put that in there in the 1950s. You do know that, right? Christian, conservative, MAGA, Trump, toe suckers. You know that your favorite verse in the Pledge of Allegiance was added by Congress in the 1950s. It was not in the original text. There was at least one generation of kids, if not more, that said the Pledge of Allegiance in school classrooms, and they never got to the under God part because it wasn't in there yet. So I think that's creepy as fuck. I think it's creepy as fuck that at Christmas time I can't go to a post office without tripping over Mary, Joseph, and the wise men and a couple of people dressed like donkeys and camels. I think that's creepy as fuck. That I can't go to Walmart without somebody saying, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, and handing me religious pamphlets. I think that's creepy as fuck. I should be able to walk out of a post office and not trip over a manger. I should be able to look at my money and not see in God we trust. I should be able to have my kids in school without being them being forced to say one nation under God. Under which God? Oh, the Christian God, of course. Oh, okay. Let's change it then. Let's just be more universal and say one nation under Vishnu, one nation under Zeus, one nation under this. Oh, but we weren't founded on that. That's why. It's not what people believe. I let people believe. If you want to believe that this coffee mug is God, I don't give a shit. If you go into the public schools and force my kids to believe that this coffee mug is God, then we're going to have words. I don't give a shit what you believe. You can believe in people believe in all sorts of things. They believe the world's flat. If you're going to be an idiot and a moron and think the world's flat, go ahead. Go ahead. Go back to the days when they believed that stuff. But I want you to be consistent. If you want to be a flat earther, go back to the times where people didn't understand mental illness. They didn't understand justice. They didn't understand kindness. They didn't understand how to treat each other without a book telling them how to do it. Go back to those days. We don't want you here. If you want to believe in a flat earth, go back to the flat earth times and live the life of a true flat earther. Right? Don't say the world's flat and then reap all the benefits of it not being flat. It's so hypocritical. Go back to the days when everyone truly believed the world was flat and see how that goes for you. Let's go back to the days where you had a lifespan of 40 years. We didn't have medicine. We didn't have science. You had a knife wound and they rubbed a leaf on your arm thinking that would stop the bleeding. Go back to those days. Please do. Kim's absolutely right. Schmurderers can repent and enter heaven, yet disbelief equals eternal damnation. Yeah, it's not a good. This is why I say if there is a God, it can't be judgmental. It can't hold that over your head that you have to. Imagine just being born. You didn't ask to be born. None of us asked to be born. And yet we're born. We're here. Like, it's so weird, the whole concept. We're just here because our mother and father had intercourse, and now we're here. Or mother and mother, or it doesn't matter. I say mother and father. It's not always like that these days. And I understand. I have a daughter who's a lesbian. I try to be sensitive to all this stuff because I am sensitive to all this stuff. I just catch myself when I say things like that. Like, not everybody has a mother and a father, but you're born into this world. You don't ask to be here. And then at a very young age, you're told, well, you didn't ask to be here. You didn't ask to fall under all the circumstances and the laws of this world. But a good number of people on this planet believe in an eternal being that created everything. And some of those religions, which you're one of, sorry, it's Alabama, it's 1955. You're not a Hindu. Sorry, we didn't make you a Buddhist. We didn't make you a Wiccan. It's 1955 Alabama. You're a Christian, son. You're a Christian, girl. And you're going to have to live by these belief systems because we're going to raise you in a church. We're going to raise you with this system that says if you don't believe, ultimately, you're going to fucking rot in hell forever. Your soul, you're going to psychically be tormented and punished forever and ever and ever and ever. And I'm so sorry. We brought you into this world. We didn't ask you if you wanted to be here. We thrust a religion on you. And that's kind of the precepts of our belief system, honey. We're really sorry, but you got to believe or you're going to rot in a fucking frying pan for eternity. Okay? All right. Have a good day at school. Bye. That's how we raise children in a religious world. We bring them into this world. They didn't ask to be here. And then we tell them, oh, by the way, you happen to be born in a certain segment of the solar system that still adheres to Stone Age superstitions of ancient people. And we hold to those ancient, idiotic rules to this day because we're afraid of thinking for ourselves and we're afraid of not believing in this God. So, sorry, you're kind of fucked. Does that make sense that you would be born into a world, a planet out in the solar system? And what's weird, too, is if things were a little bit different, you could have been born in Calcutta and you would have been a Hindu. You could have been born in Syria and you would have been a Muslim. You could have been born to people on this commune in Berkeley and you would have been a vegan Wiccan, maybe. You were born over here, you're a Baptist. But if you're born over here, you're a Catholic. If you're born over here, you're Jewish. If you're born over here, isn't that interesting? It's interesting, isn't it? That like Hasidic Jews, they're all over, but you see a lot of them. Like when I used to work in New York City for Fox News, I'd see Hasidic Jews everywhere. You'd see them everywhere, walking the streets and everything, right? You don't really see them in Austin, Texas. You don't see a lot of Hasidic Jews in Austin, Texas. Why is that? Because they were born into a religion, born into a system that is largely concentrated in certain parts of the earth. So think about it. You didn't ask to be here. It was totally randomized. And then on top of being born, I mean, it's great being born. I love this life. I don't like this life with religion. I love this life now that I'm free from religion. But it's amazing. You're born on a planet, and it's not a very large planet in the scheme of things. Kind of an average ball of dust out in the universe somewhere. But they happen to have things called religions. And what's wild is, depending on when you were born and where you were born and who your parents were, that largely determines your fate for the rest of your life. It's a very cruel system, isn't it? It's a very cruel system. Imagine if we did this like you were born in this region, so you were a football fan no matter what. You were born in this region, so you're a hockey fan no matter what. We kind of have that already. I mean, we have that already. I was born in San Francisco. Guess who I rooted for? Guess which games my dad took me to? Guess what uniform my dad put me in? What colors my dad dressed me in? San Francisco Giants, San Francisco 49ers. Luckily, at that time, we had Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, Dwight Clark. They were a really good team. They were legends. I met all of them, too, by the way. I met all of them their rookie year. Got to hang out with all of them when they were nobodies. Nobody knew who Joe Montana was. It was so awesome. Now he's like one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But generally speaking, there aren't a lot of Dodger fans that grow up in San Francisco. And there's not a lot of Giants fans who grow up in Los Angeles. See how that works, too? It even works with sports. It works with politics. If you're born in the deep Bible Belt, you think you're going to be a liberal, son? Ain't no way we're going to let you be a liberal. You think you're going to be woke, Bobby? This is 1950s Alabama. You ain't going to be woke. You think you're going to be woke? Born in 1950s Alabama? Good fucking luck. Do you think you're going to be raised with more tolerance for the LGBTQ if you're born in San Francisco or in rural Georgia? Just saying. Just saying. My father, I don't know why he did it, but after 75 years in San Francisco, he moved to Georgia. And my father is now saying things. I'm embarrassed to say this. He's never said it. He's Mexican, too. I'm Hispanic. He's fourth-generation Mexican, born in Mexico. Proud American citizen, served in the Army, a very proud, patriotic American. And now he's a Trumper all of a sudden, which is unbelievable to me. And he's using archaic terms for black people. Months after moving to Georgia, he just casually says, not the N-word, not the N-word like in rap songs and like not that N-word, not the N-word you really, really like cringe at, but the other N-word that's still cringy, but was an acceptable N-word for decades in this country. My dad's now saying that. It's 2025 America. He's in Georgia. I guess in Georgia it's okay to call black people that. And I asked him that. I go, what, Dad, what the fuck are you saying? You can't call people that anymore. It was never right to begin with, but they don't want to be called that. You can't call them that. He goes, "Where? I'm in Georgia now. That's the words we say out here." He doesn't use that voice, but yeah. So do you think you would be born with more of a tolerance for gays and lesbians if you were born in rural Alabama or in San Francisco, California? I'm just asking. Just asking. On average, I'm not saying all Georgians are troglodytes. But if you look at who they vote for and who they elect, many of them apparently are. Not all. But do you think it's a coincidence that drag queens feel safer in San Francisco than in a small town in Georgia? Do you think that's a coincidence? Or do you think it has to do with the belief systems that people in those areas were generally raised with? Right? I mean, I was born and raised in San Francisco. Seeing two men kiss on a street corner wasn't weird to me. I used to joke on the radio. I'll share the joke with you. I used to hate my parents growing up because I was the only kid in the neighborhood that had a mother and a father. Everybody else had two moms. And it's almost the truth. I grew up in Bernal Heights, and now it's kind of even more so. But back then, like the neighbors across the street, the neighbors next to me, the neighbors across the street, 3 doors down, they were all lesbian couples. And that was like normalized to me. Like I didn't think anything weird about two women being together in a family and having kids and everything else. It was normalized. Do you think if you're born in rural Georgia on 1952 that it's going to be normal for you to see two men kissing at the mall? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not as accepted. Certainly not normalized. And probably a higher prevalence of hate crimes, to be honest, in those areas than in a more tolerant place like San Francisco. I think we don't need a degree in astrophysics to figure out that it's probably less safe for two men to kiss in rural Georgia than it is in San Francisco. Just a guess. And that's because of belief systems. That's because people raised in the Bible Belt are very different than those born in California. And it's kind of the same thing with blue states and red states, right? You have some states that want to put a weapon in everybody's hands from the time they're 10 years old. Then you have other people that don't think that way. So if you're raised in a certain area, you might be raised with a lot of weapons in the home. And in other areas, you may be told, well, this is kind of something that some people do and some people don't, and we don't in this family. It's the same thing with religion. Chances are, I know there's born agains, and what's interesting about born agains too, it's really fascinating. No one is ever born again when they're sailing on their yacht, sipping a Mai Tai with $100,000 in their savings account. That never happens. Nobody ever finds Jesus. Generally, I shouldn't say never. They usually don't find Jesus at the height of their lives when they're in happy relationships with loving children and good opportunities, and they're not schmiddicted to anything, and they have good jobs and good stability. Do you think it's curious that people tend to find Jesus later in life? I mean, the people that aren't born with Jesus, they find Jesus when they're in jail, when they're in prison, when they're down in the dumps, when they're poor, when they're destitute, when they're schmiddicted, when they've hit rock bottom, when they're in the slums, when they've lost opportunities, when their parent just died, when their kid just died. Do you think it's a coincidence that they just magically find Jesus at that point in their life? It's usually a low point. People generally don't say, oh my God, I woke up and I found Jesus when I had food in the fridge, money in the bank, good health, a good car to get me to a good job, in a great marriage, a great relationship, a great partner. Doesn't usually happen. When your life is coasting along just right, you don't find Jesus. I think it's remarkable that those who do find Jesus later in life, it's usually, you can't deny this, statistically speaking, it's got to be true. You find him when you have no other hope in the world. And then someone gives you a pamphlet outside of the bank, says, hey, have you thought about your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? You're like, fuck me, I don't have anything else to turn to. Let me see that pamphlet. Then you're like, all of a sudden, you're a Christian. All of a sudden, it's yeehaw. Let's suck Jesus' toes for eternity. Holy Spirit upon me. Sorry, talking in tongues. You think people speak in tongues when they're at the height of their lives? Do people stop and get bitten by snakes in some crazy church somewhere in the South when they're doing well in life? Nah. There are reasons for these things. When people are hopeless, they will they're more susceptible to gods in fairy tales because you think there's nothing else left for you. Am I right or am I wrong? When you hit rock bottom, you're desperate. You're like, holy fuck, nothing else is working. I'm trying to rely on myself. It's not working. I'm trying to rely on my parents. They're dead. I'm trying to rely on my kids. They're good for nothing. I'm trying to rely on my friends, but I don't have any. Shit, all I have left is Jesus. You know deep down that I'm telling you the truth. You know deep down all of this makes sense. And good to see you, Shih Tzu Mama. You're right. It is a slap in the face of those who believed their kids would be healed and their loved ones were lost. That's why prayer doesn't work. It just doesn't work, because if you have 3 kids with cancer, even in the same hospital ward, and they all believe in Jesus equally, they all love Jesus as their Lord and Savior equally, their parents are all good, loving Christians equally, and they all pray for alleviation of their cancer, and one survives and the others die, that's not a good carrying out of prayer. A good, loving God, powerful enough to heal the one kid, would be powerful enough to heal the other 2 kids. And don't tell me that those parents are stronger today because their kids suffered and died. They're stronger parents. Doesn't happen. In fact, in most marriages, I believe it's more than half of marriages where a child dies from an illness like that, the marriage falls apart. It doesn't make the wife and the wife and the wife, or the husband and the husband, or husband and the wife, or whatever, or the husband and the 3 wives, whatever situation you're in. It doesn't make the relationship stronger. It usually weakens it. Usually after a child dies, let's say a child drowns like in the swimming pool, usually that couple dissolves. They don't come together. They don't say, gosh, we're going to make it for the next 50 years married. Why do you think that happens? If it's true that struggle makes us stronger, that God drowns the kid in the swimming pool, knowing that it's going to bring the mom and dad together, doesn't usually happen. It usually dissolves the marriage. It usually dissolves the relationship. You can't argue that. And it's a cruel God. If God can't make a couple strong together without taking their baby's life, fuck that God. Fuck the God you believe in. If you think a God can only bring people together, well, I had to put the baby in the bathtub face down. It was the only way to bring the mom and dad together. I had no other choice. I had to do it. Do you see now? I'm just trying to point out how idiotic your belief systems can be, how superficial your belief systems can be, how insidious indoctrination is. One of the sayings that I've kind of said over and over again on this app and off this app, and I said it on the radio as well. Indoctrination is insidious. That's one of the best words I can think of. Indoctrination is insidious. It makes an otherwise functioning, rational, logical brain believe the most bullshit ideas, support the most indefensible things. That's what indoctrination does to the brain. Indoctrination is what led people to drink the Kool-Aid with Jim Jones. That's indoctrination. Indoctrination is what makes you discount evolution while still believing that a woman came from a man's rib. Do you realize how stupid you sound when you discount evolution, but you believe that women wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Adam sparing a rib? Do you realize how dumb that sounds? That you look back and you go, the origins of woman. Wow. Wow, that wasn't created by the patriarchy. How come Adam didn't come out of Eve's rib? How come God created man first? Do you think how come God's referred to as father and Jesus as son? Isn't it weird? Can you picture a world where we would say, dear Heavenly Mother? I'm not talking about praying to Mary if you're Catholic. I'm talking about believing that God was a woman and that he sent his only daughter to save mankind. You think it's a coincidence? Well, I guess it was a 50-50 chance. It wasn't a 50-50 chance, though, because God always, I guess, prophesied that he was going to have a one and only begotten son who would die for all our sins, blah, blah, blah. Wasn't a woman up there on the crucifix, was it? Weird. Weird, weird, weird. You know what's even weirder? This one always throws Christians in kind of like a washing machine free-for-all. Washing machine. Do you realize there was even though we know that women are the root of life, right? Women, like the womb, I know they need, not so much anymore, but for a long time they needed men to have babies. Now they really don't. And eventually, guys, sorry, you're not going to be even needed to procreate. Bad news for you, maybe, but that's fine. Good news for women. They won't need a man to have a baby anymore. Anyway, we're getting real close to that point where men are just not going to be needed for that. So we're only going to need men at that point to yell at the television set on Sunday football and to come home late from the bar. Anyway, and to start wars and all sorts of other things. You'll still be needed. You'll still be needed to come home late from the bar, slurring and starting wars and fighting each other over stupid things on the road. Okay, but aside from that, like, you'll be useless. Okay, so where was I? The thing. Yeah, there was no first mother when you think about it. It's so crazy. I guess Eve was technically the first woman to conceive her children. But the first human beings were birthed by a man. Isn't that weird? It shows you like your religion's just kooky, because we know that life doesn't come from the man. It comes out of the woman with the help of the man. I understand for now. For a short period of time, you'll still be needed. Anyway, but when you think about it, God was the creator of Adam and Eve, so there was no first womb. Isn't that weird? Like, Eve's womb would have been the first one, if you believe the nonsense of Genesis, to bring life into the world after Adam and Eve were already here. So when you think about it, if you believe Christianity and most other religions, it traces back to a male source. That's just weird to me, because men don't have wombs. Men aren't the ones who are carrying the baby for 9 months. They're not the ones who give birth. The woman is. But it's a real mindfuck when you trace it back and you say, wow, Adam and Eve weren't created by a feminine God. They were created by a dude. And of course, the dude didn't have a womb, so he had to make him out of dust. And then we had to use a rib. I love how he had to wait till Adam was asleep. He had to put Adam asleep. He's like, sleep. Well, you are suffering from your sleep apnea. I am going to remove a rib. Let me decide which one I should take. Well, I'm not making a barbecue, so I don't really care. I'm just making a woman, and women in the Bible aren't going to matter much. I'll take this rib right here. Isn't it weird? It's weird that God created Adam and then created the animals. Depending on which version of Genesis you believe, there's like two contradictory ones right back to back. But anyway, so he created Adam. He goes, this man is lonely. I must find him a partner. I shall create. I don't know why I'm using this voice when I could be using this voice.
Adam looks lonely. He looks very lonely down there on this earth. I am going to create a partner for Adam.
and the Lord created the animals. That's what your Bible states. I'm going to try not to cry too much. Your Bible states God created Adam. He saw how lonely Adam was, so he wanted to create like a partner for him so he wouldn't be so lonely, so he created animals. He goes, well, that's not
working out. Fuck, I thought at least maybe Adam and the donkey, but the donkey doesn't want to be with Adam, so I shall create woman. How shall I create woman? I will create woman kind of as an afterthought. An afterthought to man. Man is more important than woman. That's why I made him first. And, I think I'll make her out of a rib. Out of a rib. Out of Adam's rib.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense. God didn't create man and woman at the same time. He created man, saw he was lonely, so he created animals. So he must have thought Adam was going to be able to procreate with animals, I guess. He goes, well, that's not working. Fuck. All-knowing God. Let me think here. What can I do? Shit. I could have sworn like the porcupine and he would have gotten along. I guess I could create like a feminine version of the masculine. Yeah, I think maybe I'll do that. Actually, I'm not going to do it right now, though. I'm going to write it down. I'm still going to try the animal route. I'm going to throw in a few more animals, see if they get along with Adam. Maybe they want to have a family together. And if that doesn't, maybe I got nothing going Friday. Oh, no, shit, I got the dentist Friday. Hang on a sec. Hold on one sec. Hi. Yes, I can hold. Not very long because I'm already half hour past my live deadline here. I'm on TikTok right now. Yes, this is God. I'm glad you recognize my voice. Thank you. Can you put the doctor on real quick? Oh, he's doing a root canal? It'll just take a second. Hey, yo, Doc, can we reschedule Friday? I think I have a 2:20. Yeah, I chipped my tooth again. I was kind of nervous watching all these fuck faces on Earth and all their wickedness. You people are horrible. So I keep grinding my teeth. Yeah. I know I need a mouth guard. Yeah. Can we reschedule that? Yeah, I know it's last minute. You could charge me the fee. It's fine. Yeah, I have to create a partner for Adam. No, I'm just kidding. I guess that would make sense because the dentist would already be here. And if the dentist were here, then he would have to be the descendant of... Never mind. The story's fucked. Bad story. I gotta go. I can't believe I have to go. I told you at the beginning, I got to shampoo, condition, I got to get my beauty face on, and I got to go to work. I have to leave in 35 minutes to go to work. How am I going to do that now? I'll read comments and be late. Read some of the comments here. The devil loves angel cake. I love that. Every day he sees the devil when he looks into a mirror. Oh my God, what's your evidence? That's not evidence of the devil. Boy, these are long topics. These topics are showing... I have new date stamps on here on this TikTok. Holy shit, Ronald Reagan was in his second term. These are really going back. I'm really sorry. Some of the people who are leaving these comments are now deceased. It says R.I.P. next to this one. Shit. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have a new update. It's just for me only. I have like epitaphs. I could see like how many people have been on hold for so long that they've actually perished. Horrible. Molly says, is the host Christian? I used to be. I know you don't like hearing that. I used to be. You were never a Christian. Never. You never leave. Once you're in the cult, a true cult member would never leave. Technically, we're all born not breathing. That's because he was too exhausted to lift a finger after he created the universe. Yeah, God had to rest. I love that. And God had to rest, and I'm going to make you guys rest too. When I was a Christian, that was a big dilemma of mine, because when I was a right-wing Christian nationalist on talk radio, my show started as a weekend show. And I'll be honest with you, I was full-out Christian back then. And I lost sleep for a while going, God, how do I reconcile not working on the Sabbath to working on the Sabbath? I didn't go to church. I was working all day. So, yeah, that was a big one for me. I actually believe God was so horrible that he would, instead of saying, like, this guy's following his dream of being on the radio and he's trying to make a living for himself and good for him. It's not what the commandment says. All right. I hope I entertained a few people. Only 32,000 hearts worth. Could be worse. It could be 31,000 hearts. Hello, Slice. Host lose. How did I lose? How did I lose in this live? I've been nailing them out of the ballpark, man. I've been nailing them out of the ballpark. Loki says I'm so entertaining. I appreciate that. Thank you. Tell my wife that. Tell my kids that. Anyway, I'm just kidding. They think I'm. No, they don't think I am. Kim says she's the helper, silly. Never thought about it that way. That's pretty fucked up. Which way, Slice? Tell me. Win host. Thank you. I like seeing that when it says win host. I don't like seeing when it says lose host. You'd say the same thing if it was opposite way around. No, it's not weird. It had to start some way. Yeah, but a guy doesn't create life. I mean, then God should have been a woman, because to be consistent, the woman is the one who has the womb. Maybe one day it'll be different. Men will have wombs. But for now, women have the womb. And women are the ones who actually deliver life into the world with the guys' help, which guys, I'm telling you, our days are limited. Pretty soon we're only going to be needed for screaming at the television set on Sunday football. And I don't like football, so I'm not one of those guys. So I'm already fucked. I don't even do that. We'll still be needed for road rage incidents, because overwhelmingly road rage is perpetrated by men. I don't do that either, so I'm double fucked. Starting wars, starting conflicts. Crimes, essaying, overwhelming. I think it's like 90% of essays are perpetrated by men. Prisons, overwhelmingly male. So at least we'll still be needed for like the jail population, guys. That'll be cool. We won't be needed to conceive life anymore, but we need to, somebody's got to fill the jails. Oxymoron says, when I was a kid, I think 3/4 of the church were recovering schmatics. Whoops. I'm trying to be good and read the comments here. Oh, it got dark all of a sudden. Jesus pulled the plug. And yet Jesus doesn't help with shit. What do you believe in? I believe... People ask that all the time. Like, if you don't believe in God, it's crazy. Like, I should ask them, like, well, since you don't believe in Vishnu, what do you believe in? And then they throw it to another God. I believe in Yahweh. I believe life is what you make it. I'll leave you with this little fortune cookie. Life is what you make it. I'm so glad that God is not the reason for life, because if you disagreed with that, you'd have a really shitty life. And I think that's why a lot of people have mental breakdowns. That's why a lot of people have religious trauma. They are raised in a world that says if you don't have a God concept, you can't possibly have good grounding in life. You can't possibly have a good compass in life. You can't possibly know right from wrong. No wonder there's so many people in therapy, right? I've been in therapy. I was in therapy for years. So a lot of people go through therapy. I wonder how fewer people, is that right? How fewer people would be in therapy. How many fewer people would be in therapy? Is that correct? If it weren't for being raised with this idea that you're nothing, you're a little worm. Aren't religions beautiful? Christianity is so nice. It starts out with the premise that you are a worm. You are a sinner. The baby, the fetus, is a sinner. The fetus in the amniotic sac of the mother is a sinner in the eyes of Christians. You're already just how psychotic is this cult that it gets people to believe that that baby floating in the amniotic sac is a sinner. The sonogram hasn't even told you whether it looks like it's going to be, male or female. You don't even know yet if it's a boy or a girl. And it's already a sinner. You know that. The baby's the size of a pea, and it's already a sinner. How psychotic is your religion? Be honest. It's pretty psycho that you think a baby the size of a pea developing into a human being, a full human being, whatever, is somehow a sinner. All it knows is the amniotic sac of the mother. It's just existing. Doesn't even know probably where it is. None of us have any memories of being in the amniotic sac. If we do, we're liars because nobody remembers that far back. And yet we're sinners, we're broken, we're beaten, we're battered, we're half humans, we're practically not human at all. We're dirty, disgusting, we're hopeless. Unless we find Jesus. Jesus makes it all okay. But that little fetus is disgusting. That little fetus is no different than a piece of dog shit that you track into the house from the lawn. That little baby might as well be a tiny little piece of dog shit in the eyes of Christianity because that baby is totally just broken, battered, beaten, sinful, wicked, till they find Jesus. Till they find the man that loves them so much he will roast them in a frying pan if they don't love him back. Then they're okay. Then they'll be saved by Jesus. You see, I'm going to do one of those things. Maybe it'll turn into a meme. You know that one everyone's using? I've used it too. The one of the woman who says, Jesus loves you so much he made you a sinner because he hates the sin in you. And he wants to destroy you for your sin that he put into you in the first place. You know that meme. I'm going to do my own. I think it'll be better. The only thing is that woman was serious. That woman was 100% for real Christian evangelical saying that. I'm not. So I would fabricate it, but I would say something like that. Yeah. You are such a special. So let me get this straight. You were made in God's image, but you're broken, beaten, sinful, wicked, a half-wit, half-human, barely a human at all. You're like a little troll, orc, goblin creature in your mother's womb. You are so wicked and evil. You are sinful from the minute but you were made in God's image. Christianity 101. You are made in the image of God. That's why when you're a fetus, you're already a sinner. You're disgusting. Your feet probably smell. You've got BO. You're a horrible little wretch. But you are made in the image of God. You were. Hey, Annie, good to see you in here. Thank you for the $10 on Venmo. I didn't thank you yesterday because I didn't see it till today. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to send you a thank you on Venmo as well. My Venmo is Radio Spencer. And if you guys enjoyed the show today, I was on with you for a couple of hours. Even, Annie, you're so generous. Even $1 helps. If everyone threw $1 into the Venmo, I might be able to do this every day. I can't do it for like 13 cents a day. There's no way. I can't work for that cheap. But anyway, it's helpful. It really is. And I have a podcast that's totally separate from all of this stuff. It's totally the opposite of what I am on TikTok. It's mindset, mindfulness, minimalism, thoughts become things, mental health, health and wellness. And it's patreon.com/Spencer Hughes. That's $1 a month. $1 a month. So that's another way you can support. I appreciate it. I don't think we hit the gift goal, did we? Whoops. Oh, we did. We did. I just didn't reset it. Hold on one sec here. Let me. Okay, I went way longer than I was supposed to, so I got to get ready for work. So thank you. And again, the Venmo is very helpful. Annie, I feel so guilty because you're like 80% of my Venmos have come from you, and I'm so grateful, but I feel bad too. If everyone's shared the wealth, as they say, every time Annie gives me $10, if 10 people did $1, that would be awesome as well. And I don't ever want to make you think that I expect this stuff or I'm doing it just for that. But it helps. It helps. If I could lock myself in this office and tell my wife I made $20, it's a lot easier than saying I made 14 cents, right? It's like easier to justify a hobby. Like I used to do metal detecting, and that paid for itself because I'd find like gold rings and I'd find, things that were worth money, little relics and stuff. So that was like an expensive hobby, but it paid for itself like in the first year of combing beaches and stuff. Like if you have a hobby where all you're doing is like buying stuff, like, I'm going to collect, I don't know. I'm going to collect Pokemon cans or something. I'm spending $10,000 a month on Pokemon cans and it doesn't make me any money. It's a little harder to justify that kind of a hobby, right? But if it's a hobby, like let's say you're a bowler and you actually win tournaments and you make like $500 a month bowling, then it's kind of cool that you're always gone bowling. Your husband or wife doesn't care that you're gone all the time because you're making $100 a month, bowling. But if it's like, I'm going to go to the archery range and just be there like for 7 hours with my buddies, just them, me, Coors, and a whole bunch of arrows. And I'll be back around 3 a.m. Okay, honey? It's like, oh, wow. Freaking deadbeat. So anyway, That's why I do that. So anyway, thank you. I appreciate it. And the link's in the bio for the, thank you very much. Yes, it's in the bio. And I appreciate you. Good to see you, Farrah Leo. Thank you for being here. I got to run, guys. I'm sorry I couldn't get to all the calls. Paul would have been so good to get to. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it up to just for fun. We're going to do a quick poll. 60 seconds. Happy face is I take one more caller. We have Paul, who has a saint as his avatar and a cross next to his name. So that could be delicious. I don't know. So there's the vote. Go. You have like a minute to vote. Happy face if you want me to take one more caller. Frowny face, crying face if you don't want me to take Paul. I really do. I mean, I don't have to I take the call. 3-1 so far. Paul's voting. That's pretty funny. Paul's voting yes. Because Paul's the caller. This is like choose your own adventure. Come on, guys. There's 33 people in here. How do we only have 4 votes? 10 seconds. The poll ends in 8 seconds. Let's go. Okay, it's overwhelming. 4-1 so far, unless the no's win in the last second. 3 seconds to go. 2 seconds. 1. Wow. It's just like America. 33 people eligible to vote and only 5 voted. It's just like America. Okay, let's go to Paul. Paul, you win. And I want to end on a good note. I don't want to end screaming and yelling, but usually when people have saints holding baby Jesus and their name's Paul with a cross next to it, it doesn't end well. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to stereotype. But what is your age for TikTok purposes? Are you at least
27?
Are you, okay, thank you. I don't have a lot of time, and I don't want you to think I'm running or blocking you or anything, but I'm way on borrowed time right now. I should have ended 39 minutes ago. And in about 10 minutes, I will be panicking to get to work. So what is on your mind? I'll let you talk.
Yeah, I was intrigued by your prompt. Says the devil is not real. I wanted to ask you, like usually people that say the devil is not real, they're hoping and wishing for God not to be real. That's how you feel too? Like you don't believe in God?
I don't know if there's a God or not. I was a Christian for 40 years. I certainly don't believe in Yahweh anymore. I think Yahweh is fictional, just like all the other gods that humans created. I don't think the creator of the universe wrote books that can be read in 6 months that encapsulate life as we know it. It's impossible. I don't think the creator, if there is a creator of the universe, he didn't leave us little handbooks that were written by people with a 95% illiteracy rate.
Yeah,
he didn't leave his word. He didn't leave his words in the hands of illiterate goat herders. I promise you.
Yeah, Spencer, I got bad news for you, man. The devil is real, man.
Because you say it is?
Well, that and, just looking at the world and seeing all the bullshit and,
Right. You don't think that's explainable? You don't think that's explainable?
When that piece of shit starts manifesting himself to all those who are trying to get close to God, then,
Wait, what piece of shit?
The devil.
Why would God have ever created the devil if he was going to be the thorn in everyone's foot forever and ever and ever? Why would he do that? Why would God? Couldn't God? Let me ask you a question. Could your perfect God have created a universe where a devil did not exist? Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
Yeah, he could. I mean,
okay, so why didn't he?
But because the story goes and is.
Oh yeah, the story goes. Yeah. The fable goes a certain way. So the fable goes a certain way. Yeah, Hansel and Gretel threw the witch into the oven. That's the way the story goes, Spencer. Sorry. Although I think in the real story she ate the kids, but I'm not sure.
God Almighty created the angel in his presence. So
right. You don't know. That's a claim. You don't know that. You can't prove the existence of God, angels, or devils. You can't. It's all your belief system.
Look at it on the bright side, buddy. The devil was cast down from heavens, and the humankind has been given the opportunity.
Yeah. Why did God create Lucifer? Why did God create Lucifer?
He was one of the angels.
Right, and he knew he would become a fallen angel and the devil. Correct.
At some point, well, but he gave him, I guess.
Why did he?
Free will.
Why did he? Don't use free will. I'm going to start challenging Christians to try to get through a conversation without this bullshit of free will, which is nowhere in the Bible. Nowhere in the Bible is free will mentioned, not even once. And yet Christians, that's the only argument they ever have anymore. They resort to free will.
Yeah,
I want
but
you to
you
get
have
through.
to
I want you to
understand
get
that-
through this argument without free will. God
Yeah.
had free will. Does God have free will?
Yeah, of course. What kind
So
of silly
he had the
question
free
is that?
will. He had the free will to create all his loving creations in a world that didn't have to battle the devil for eternity. Yes.
Yeah, but you see, God.
Yeah, but he didn't, right?
he
Could
gave
God? Let me
choice.
ask you this: could God have created a world without cancer? Yes or no?
Yeah, but cancer.
But he
of
didn't, right?
course, but how do you know?
Oh,
Cancer
wait! Are you going to apologize for cancer?
Cancer is part of the fallen nature of man, the brokenness.
Right. Could he have done it? Could he have done it without? Could he have made it so that I don't
Yeah,
get
but you're
cancer?
not,
Could he have done? Could he have made a world where people thousands of years after the perpetrators committed the sins didn't get punished for it? Could he have created a truly just, loving world where I don't get cancer because something that Adam and Eve did thousands of years ago?
Yeah, he's
Like why do I get cancer for what Adam and Eve did? I had nothing to do with them.
Yeah, the mystery of our existence.
Oh, the
my
mystery,
friend.
yes, God works
Yeah.
in mysterious ways.
The
Yes.
mystery,
Do
but-
you think God's will be done? Do you believe that everything is God's will?
Yes,
So the Holocaust was God's will, yes or no?
allowed it to happen.
Right. Why
Why
would your
don't
God
you
allow?
mention-
Why would
don't
your
you
God
mention the
allow
slavery?
eight? Why would God allow? You're right. Well, God condoned slavery. He was a fan of slavery. You can't get
Usually
away
he
from
goes-
that. He was a
usually-
fan of slavery.
Yeah,
So
Spencer,
don't even go there.
Spencer.
You don't want to. You're not going to win with me on the slavery argument.
No,
You might. You
Spencer.
might win on
Usually
another one,
God-
which I doubt.
usually-
You're not going to win on the slavery argument.
I know. But usually God works this way. He works. He goes. He comes as a nice. He tries his best to convince you.
Tries his best. Yeah, by being
convince
invisible.
You, nah.
What a great way to convince someone by being
To
invincible.
convince
By
you
being
that
invisible.
he's real. He's out there. If it
Yeah.
doesn't work,
He's real.
then,
He's real. But everything.
he's gonna
Everything.
twist
Right.
your
Everything.
ear.
What? Say it again. What was the last thing you said?
He's gonna twist your ears if you don't acknowledge him. If you don't believe in him. and
Ooh,
that's
God's
where
going to
the
twist my
suffering comes in.
ears.
He's
Is that
gonna
what? Is that
twist
what your
them.
all-powerful God?
He's
He
gonna
turned.
twist them.
He turned people. He turned people into pillars of salt, and he annihilated them and eviscerated them. And he's going to twist my ear. Is that the
gonna
worst thing that's
twist-
going to happen? Is he's going to twist my
He's
ear?
gonna.
Yeah. Here's a song for you. I'm Casey Ketchup, and here is the #1 hit in the USA this week. It's a song called "The Devil's a No-Show," and here it is on the Spencer Hughes Show. Thanks a lot for being here. More American Top 40 tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow. All right. You voted for that guy. Remember, you voted for that guy. Went exactly
the
as I thought it
devil's got
would.
a reputation, my friend. They say he's lurking round every bend. But take a look, there's no hoof, no tail, no pitchfork, no brimstone. Just a tall tale like Santa with his sleigh, or the bunny on Easter Day. The devil's a no-show, baby. He's a myth. Like the tooth fairy's coins or a genie's wish. Stop worrying. Stop fretting, let the old guy go. 'Cause the devil's a no-show, baby. He's a no-show. They say he's got a fiery lair down below. But I checked my basement and it just ain't so. No contract signed in blood, no dealing in sin, just cobwebs and boxes, no demons within. Like a reindeer that flies, or a man made of pie. The devil's a no-show, baby. He's pretend.